they been cramping my style all week. Craving chocolate trees, checking pants, checking seeds, sipping herbal tea, and fight for menstrual equity. Jeez, man, I kick Cramp's ass. 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 You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramp's Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
To the Kick Cramp's Ass podcast, where I'm your host, B. Happy Menstruation Monday. And today we're going to be talking about adenomyosis. Now, have you ever experienced debilitating period pain that goes beyond the usual cramps? Well, today we're deep diving into adenomyosis, a condition that might be the missing piece of your health puzzle. Now, April is Adenomyosis Awareness Month, and we want to just shed some light on this condition and for those of you who may be experiencing these symptoms. All right, guys. Now, we'd like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmations, and M representing manifestations. And the I am power statement for today is, I am resilient and capable of navigating this journey with adenomyosis. Therefore, I am stronger than the pain. My body has the inner resources to find comfort. Ashe. All right. And we also like to do a quote of the day. And today's is, tracking and being aware of your menstrual cycle is the greatest act of self-care you can give yourself. And unlike joining a gym, starting a diet, or quitting coffee, it requires very little effort. And that's by Mazi Hill. So, guys, we talked about tracking the menstrual cycles before. We'll actually drop a link to that episode, as a previous podcast episode from season 1, so that you could better learn how to adequately track your menstrual cycle. All right, guys. Now we're going to go ahead and take a quick sip of our good old Cramp elixir, and we're going to cut to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with you. Have you tried our bestseller, the Cramp elixir? It's our herbal tea blend designed to reduce and eliminate menstrual cramps, PMS symptoms, and other uterine health issues that are hindering your day-to-day progress. Our elixir may decrease inflammation, reduce stress and anxiety, regulate blood flow, balance your mood, and it can kick Cramp's ass. It includes a variety of herbs including hibiscus, red raspberry leaf, calendula, motherwort, ashwagandha, plus more. Head over to kickcrampsass.org and grab yours today. Now, back to the show. Welcome back from that commercial break. We hope that you enjoyed it. Now let's get into what exactly is adenomyosis. Let me just give you a clear and simple explanation of the condition. Now, imagine that your uterus has an inner lining called the endometrium. Now, in adenomyosis, tissue similar to this lining starts to grow into the muscular wall of the uterus. So this would be the same as having tiny little seeds sprouting where they should not be at. So this misplaced tissue then thickens the uterine walls and can cause various symptoms. All right. Now, a lot of people tend to get adenomyosis and endometriosis mixed up. So let's go ahead and talk about the difference between the two. Now, in endometriosis, that tissue grows outside of the uterus wall. With adenomyosis, that tissue actually grows on the inside, like we talked about with the myometrium. And that's the difference between endometriosis and adenomyosis. So endometriosis grows outside of the uterus, and adenomyosis grows on the inside of that uterine wall. All right, guys. Now, let's talk about the different patterns that adenomyosis may cause, because we have diffuse adenomyosis, and then we have focal adenomyosis and adenomyomas. Now, the key difference lies in the distribution of the ectopic endometrial tissue within the uterine wall. So, diffuse adenomyosis is widespread, while focal adenomyosis and adenomyomas are localized to specific areas, with adenomyomas having the added characteristic of surrounding muscle hypertrophy, forming a distinct mass. So, recognizing these different patterns is important for diagnosis and considering appropriate management strategies. So, just to recap that, diffuse adenomyosis is scattered throughout the myometrium, so the muscular wall of the uterus, while focal adenomyosis and adenomyomas are concentrated in one or more localized areas within the myometrium. All right, guys. Now, the primary symptoms of adenomyosis happens to be heavy and prolonged menstrual bleeding, the same as menorrhagia. We have an article about that with our KCA magazine that we'll put the link in the description. Also, severe menstrual cramps, which is dysmenorrhea. If you've been listening to us for a while, that is one of the diagnoses that we had, and we've talked about each season of this podcast. We also have an article for that in the KCA magazine, and I'll drop the link to that article as well in the description of this episode. Also, chronic pelvic pain. Menstruators might also experience pain during intercourse, which is dyspareunia. Bloating and pressure in the pelvis is also a symptom, and in some cases, infertility or early miscarriage might be a symptom. All right, guys. Now, we always like to give statistics to back up these uterine issues that we discussed throughout the podcast episodes. So, while adenomyosis is gaining more recognition, many are still unaware of how common it could be. So, let's look at some statistics that menstruators may be unaware of. Now, according to Serena Schrager and her research team in 2022, estimates vary widely, ranging from 20 to 35% in menstruators of reproductive age. Now, some studies based off of hysterectomy samples have reported higher rates of adenomyosis. Now, the age range most commonly diagnosed typically happens in menstruators within their 30s, 40s, or even in their 50s, but it can occur in younger ages. And that was confirmed by the Cleveland Clinic in 2023. Now, around 1/3 of women with adenomyosis may be asymptomatic, meaning they don't even realize that they have the condition or experience any of the symptoms we mentioned above. Now, some menstruators with symptoms with heavy menstrual bleeding and pelvic pain, the prevalence of adenomyosis could be higher, between 30 to 60% of those individuals. Now, studies of hysterectomy specimens show adenomyosis in 8 to 61.5% of cases, with a mean of 20 to 30%. That is a large jump, guys, from just a minimum of 8%, but a maximum of 61.5%. Now, adenomyosis may be present in around menstruators, 10% experiencing subfertility. Now, among adolescents with severe painful cycles, the prevalence is estimated for adenomyosis to be about 2 to 5%, but some studies in young menstruators ages 12 to 25 years old report rates as high as 25 to 45% in those with heavy menstrual bleeding, pelvic pain, and imaging-based diagnosis. Now, it is also estimated that adenomyosis affects up to 1 in every 10 menstruators, though some studies suggest that that number could even be higher. And lastly, menstruators report the impact of quality of life, work productivity, and their mental health being affected once they are diagnosed with adenomyosis. All right, guys, so that wraps up the stats and what exactly is adenomyosis. Let's go ahead and cut to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you. Tired of clunky remote recordings? Level up with Riverside FM Pro. Get studio quality audio and video, effortless editing with powerful AI tools, and seamless live streaming and collaboration. Become a pro of Riverside.fm and unlock the full potential of your content. Sign up today and make your voice heard. Visit the link in the description of this episode to discover more. Now, back to the show. Welcome back from that commercial break. We hope that you enjoyed it. Now, we did mention at the beginning of this episode that April is Adenomyosis Awareness Month. Now, it's incredibly important to talk about why we're having this conversation because April is Adenomyosis Awareness Month. Now, let's talk about why we want to spread awareness. It helps raise public awareness about a condition that often goes undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. All right, guys, as you can see, some people don't even find out that they have adenomyosis until they're in their 40s or 50s. We also want to encourage open conversations among individuals, healthcare providers, and researchers so we can provide more prevalent resolutions for those who are diagnosed. Also, advocating for more research, better diagnostic tools, and approved treatment for those who are suffering with painful periods with adenomyosis. And lastly, just creating a sense of community and support for those living with adenomyosis and letting them know that we are here to support you and to give the relative information, resources, and tools that can guide you to managing, preventing, or even eliminating adenomyosis. All right. So you are not alone in this journey, and there are multiple organizations dedicated to supporting individuals with adenomyosis. We have the Well-Being of Women. We have Adenomyosis Advice Association. And we also have the Endometriosis Foundation. I know we mentioned earlier about endometriosis and adenomyosis getting confused or confused to be the same thing, but this actual foundation not only tackles endometriosis, adenomyosis, and other uterine health or related reproductive health issues. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave a link for each one of these websites in the description of this episode. So let's talk about holistic approaches to treating adenomyosis. Now, while conventional medical treatments are crucial, many individuals find relief and manage their symptoms through holistic approaches. It's important to note that these are often used as complementary therapies alongside medical care and not replacements. However, with us being a holistic plant-based nutritionist and an aspiring health psychologist currently in grad school for that, we want to highlight that there are holistic approaches that are practical, and it takes being focused, discipline, and time management and patience with yourself, showing grace when times get tough or when things get difficult as you're transitioning into treatment options that works best for your body. All right, so the first holistic approach is going to be diet and nutrition. We want to make sure we are consuming anti-inflammatory foods, so whole foods, reducing processed foods, sugary foods, fast foods, dairy, gluten, breads, crackers, candies, sugary beverages. All of those things can add inflammation to the body in addition to alcohol. So eliminating these from your diet will aid in having a better adenomyosis treatment. All right. You also want to incorporate foods that support hormonal balances. So nuts, seeds, leafy greens, complex carbohydrates, plant proteins, herbs that is going to help regulate the hormones within the body. All right, guys. We want to talk about the importance of hydration. More than one ways that you could stay hydrated. So drinking a minimum of 8 cups of water per day, or that's equivalent to 4 standard water bottles, which is the 15.9 ounce bottle. If you drink one when you first get up in the morning and then have one with each one of your meals, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or drink throughout the day, then you can easily drink those 4 water bottles. But if you don't want to drink water, I know it's been a lot going on in the United States in discussing the water supply and how toilet water is being reused and recycled for spring water, then you might want to eat your hydration. And how can you eat your hydration? That's by consuming seeded fruits and vegetables. So cucumber, celery, aloe vera, watermelon, coconut, all of these fruits and vegetables have an ample supply of hydration, and consuming these foods will help regulate your water content within your body. All right, guys. Now, herbal remedies and supplements is another go-to. We mentioned specific herbs, often discussed for pelvic pain and inflammation. So ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, dong quai. We have nettles. We have chaste tree, or same thing as vitex, red raspberry leaf, hibiscus. So many different things. Motherwort, mugwort. So many different things that you could put and consume in your body to help reduce the inflammation. All right, guys. We also want to talk about the benefits of magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and iron, which our body tends to lose during our menstrual cycles. So we want to make sure that we're eating the foods that align with these items. Again, seeded fruits and vegetables are going to be your go-to, and complex carbohydrates. Sweet potatoes, citrus fruits, kiwis, key limes, grapefruits, oranges, different variety of berries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Bananas are great for potassium. So magnesium and phosphorus you can get from pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, which are normally my go-tos. So a plethora of different items to consume that you could be putting in your smoothies, eating with snacks, incorporated into your different meals that you eat throughout the day, even into your beverages. Another holistic approach is movement and exercise, gentle movement and exercises at that. So we're talking about yoga, a low impact Pilates, doing a brisk walk around the neighborhood or in your apartment complex. All of these exercise routines can improve your blood flow and help reduce stress within the body. And also, movement can help manage the pain and improve your overall well being. All right, guys. Next, we want to do stress management techniques. So, the impact of stress on inflammation and pain can really be critical for adenomyosis. So, we want those menstruators to do things that you love to help mitigate stress. So, practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or breath work, mindfulness, and journaling, which you can all learn through Pilates for Periods, our fitness and mindfulness program, which the link for that will be in the description of this episode. But also, if you like to read, if you want to go out in nature, if you like to go to the beach and listen to the ocean, if you like to sit out at night and stargaze into the sky, these are all options for you to help you mitigate stress. Just do what you love that's within legal capacity and something that you know that's really going to help you seek peace and happiness. And then lastly, for a holistic approach, is pelvic floor therapy. Shout out to the vagina rehab doctor. We're going to put her information in the description of this episode. That's a great option for you to start with. She puts a lot of information on her Instagram pages and her social media accounts, and her website has a plethora of information that can help you and explain how the tight pelvic floor muscles can contribute to pain, but that therapy can help release that pressure, and that will aid in adenomyosis symptoms. For a more personalized approach, we recommend seeking assistance from your desired healthcare professional. All right, guys. So those people can make sure that they're giving you the right strategic plan of action. If you would like to have services with myself, being a licensed nutritionist, I will leave the information in the description of this episode where you could schedule a complimentary consultation with me and we could discuss potential options for you to mitigate any of the uterine health issues that you may be having. All right, guys. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with you. Periods got you down? Kick cramps to the curb with Pilates for Periods. Our online program combines targeted Pilates, soothing yoga, calming meditation, and breath work to help you manage your menstrual cycle naturally. Feel stronger, calmer, and more in control. Reclaim your comfort. Visit Pilates for Periods YouTube page linked in the description of this episode and start your journey to a more manageable cycle today. Now, back to the show. Welcome back from that commercial break. We hope that you enjoyed it. All right, guys. So we are going to give you some resources and tools that will be helpful for you in improving your menstrual cycle journey. And for those of you who may be suffering with adenomyosis, we have our resource center on our website. It's a plethora of tools. We have recipes, reports, research, exercise moves, yoga moves, womb terminology, our archive blog, and then access to our KCA magazine, plus more. We have Pilates for periods, which we just discussed, that can help you with the yoga, Pilates, being mindful, breath work, meditation to help mitigate some of these issues that you may be experiencing. We also have KCA the magazine. We talked about a couple of different articles earlier in the episode, and we'll give the full link to the magazine so you can explore on your own. And then lastly, just sign up for our newsletter to keep up with the latest news, events, and resources that we have going on. When you do sign up, we give you a 15% off coupon to our KCA store so you can shop and get a discount on your first order. But just having that newsletter keeps you up to date with what news that we've gotten our hands on, new research, new trends, and things that could be helpful for you managing your menstrual cycle journey. All right, guys, we are still accepting listeners' mail, so feel free to comment to this episode. If you want a more personalized approach, you can email us at contact@kickcrampsass.org, which will also be listed in the description of this episode. But to recap, April is Adenomyosis Awareness Month, and we wanted to highlight how adenomyosis can affect the menstruator, ways that you can mitigate these issues, and organizations that are also here to help you out. Be sure to like our podcast, like this episode, subscribe to our website, like we mentioned before, to keep up the latest news, events, and resources. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channels at Kick Cramps Ass and at Pilates for Periods to keep up with everything that we have going on with menstrual equity, period poverty, and helping you to achieve optimal womb wellness. But we also want to send gratitude out to all of you for tuning in to this episode. And we manifest a positive, productive, and peaceful remainder of your menstruation Monday and a menstrual journey ahead. And we'll be talking to you on next Menstruation Monday. Peace.